Hello and welcome to another episode of Citadel Guard Adventures. Garalip is saying hello as well. This is Beriathan of the Citadel Guard of Gondor, and we're back again in the Vales of Anduin. So after helping the Beornings at Begbar and confronting the goblins from Goblin Town as well, our next step is the village of Hultvís, which is a little bit to the south, not too much. So we're gonna grab the war steed and quickly ride to Hultvís. And there we can also resume the Black Book of Mordor that we've been doing, chapter 10, here in the Vales. Oh. Oh no. Yeah, please don't do that. Old fort. Now, I wonder what's the purpose of this flat stone? I'll need to check that one out. But anyway, it's another beautiful day here in the Vales. Let's take a look at this forest. Still amazed at how good this area looks. Enjoying it quite a lot. It's a similar experience, I believe, to the one I had with West Gondor, in the sense that I didn't remember it being so gorgeous and so immersive. It's been a great time. And here we are at the town of Hultvís. You have arrived at the village of Hultvís. Adalfon nods in greeting.
The fighting may be done, but we need to rebuild our town and restock our larders.
Welcome to Hultvís, village of the woodmen. My people have endured much with the passage of time, but no matter the trouble that comes, we persist and stand strong. When orcs burned the walls, we rebuilt them. When orcs stalked our streets, we drove them away. So it has always been, and that was the way of life in Hultvís. But in recent weeks, something changed. I know not what it was, and neither do the elders of the village, but the orcs and goblins of the Misty Mountains poured from their holes in numbers we had not seen for 100 years. The fighting was more fierce than any I had ever seen, and my people and the bear folk alike suffered tremendous losses. Grim Beorn and a number of his people finally saw victory at the old fort, but none knew if a second attack might be coming. Only when a great eagle appeared in the southern skies and spoke of the war's ending did we dare hope that the worst was behind us. The fighting may be done, but we need to rebuild our town and restock our larders. If you seek out and defeat orc stragglers and gather flanks from the forest hearts in Woodsedge for a quick paramount, you will have helped us and we will remember it. Okay, simple enough, I can do that. Neither a Hárskor nor his wagon can be found, and many tower glances rise to meet you. Alright, so we grab the stable master. Ah, this is a very cool steed. I don't recognize it. I have the feeling that it's one of the Gondor steeds, but I might be wrong on that one. In any case, we need to find Ríkmar, which I believe it's here on the upper side of the village. Oh, and we have another page in here. That's great.
So bolt your doors, make fast the shutters, and listen for his moans and mutters. Then light your lantern, torch, or lamp to drive him back to dark and damp.
Yeah, I love this one. The rhythm and everything. It's so great.
Have you been sent by Grim Beorn? Where are the provisions he promised us?
I must admit, I did not expect Grim Beorn to send an outsider. If he has fulfilled his promise as I hoped, I suppose it is no matter. So, where are the provisions? Well? You introduce yourself to Ríkmar and explain that you have not been sent by Grimbeorn with provisions, but instead to search for a Beorning named Hárskor, who was thought to have arrived in Hultvís some days ago. I am sorry, Beriathan, Hultvís has suffered greatly since the end of the war, and many mouths have gotten fed to preserve what little rations we have left. Even so, I won't abandon the Skin Changers. Many of their kind fought and died to protect us against the Orcs, and the woodmen will aid them in return. If Grimbeorn sent Hárskor on his errand, he has either become lost or some trouble has found him under the eaves of the forest. Alas, it is not the way of the Skin Changers to lose the path in the Vales. What has become of him, and what has become of the provisions he bore? It is curious that Grimbeorn close to Senji instead of one of his kin. He does not often entrust such matters to outsiders. Perhaps he sees something of himself in you. Here, let me mark your map. If Hárskor met with some trouble on the road to Hultvís, you must find him. Listen well, man, I have heard troubling rumors from the south, and I would share them with you. They may be the falsest of lies, but then again they might be true. I cannot judge, so I leave it to you. These tales come from Blomgard, a village to the south in Lærlad. They speak of shadows in the night and a frightful scuttling sound upon the roofs of the village. Now I have not spoken with their leader Odahiel since the elves gave these woods to us, but she is not one to speak falsely. There are good men and women in that village, and if we can save them from this creeping danger, we should do so. And if these are just tales, well, at least we will know for certain. Alright, Blomgard, yeah, it's, as Ríkmar said, another village to the south, so we'll end up there eventually, but not yet. So for the time being, we can focus on the Black Book and finding Hárskor too, which seems to be, well, he seems to be in trouble too. Alright, so to track Hárskor we just need to keep moving to the north. In the meantime, Orcs and Hearts. Yeah, we can do that. Let us begin. Oh, come on. Alright. That's flank number 1. Ah, it's so great how the aura will alert you if you are near some orcs. You find no sign of Hárskor, but the scent of honey lingers in the air. A honey cake. As you pause to examine it, a sudden rustling betrays an ambush. Ha! I told you it would work. This one will taste much better than those awful cakes. Search the old fort. Okay. So as I was saying, I really enjoy that weapon aura effect. Especially, I am not sure if you noticed that just a few moments ago, but the closer you get to the orcs, the brighter it shines. And that is also a really cool detail. And if I'm not mistaken, it also shines brighter if you are surrounded by more than one orc, which is also another great detail. And I think that's the major difference from the old orc damage scroll that was introduced in the Mines of Moria expansion, because that one worked more like a switch. It was just on and off, and just one it glowed with the same intensity regardless of proximity or number of orcs. So yeah, I've come to enjoy this one a little bit more. I just hope this was introduced a little bit sooner, and I also hope I wish I had the income when this was initially released to purchase it. You find no evidence that a wagon has passed across the old fort. Search the path to the ruins of Hadhodiant. Alright, the bridge. Yeah, let us go there. Well, I also wish I had known, but of course there was no way of knowing the expansions that were to become available as part of the 15-year celebration and all the gifts that came with it. I mean, you notice a slain orc lying on the side of the road. I purchased worth 3 peaks. The mauled orc has been rent by countless claw marks and deep gashes. Follow the path to the ruins. Ah, okay. So yeah, I purchased worth 3 peaks, the collector's edition eventually, and then I got another pack of the collector's edition with the anniversary. Well, I got some extra items twice, and that was still good. But at the same time, I could have saved myself some bucks. Nothing too major. His hair matted with black blood, Hárskor looms over a group of slain orcs. Are you okay, Hárskor? Who are you, and why do you stand before me? Speak quickly, or you will know the wrath of the line of Beorn.
There are goblins in the hills and they are an unusually cunning sort.
Answer! Hárskor is noticeably exhausted, but his stature is no less imposing. You sheathe your weapons and explain that you followed Hárskor's path at the behest of Green Beorn, and that you encountered a number of goblins in the woods who had laid traps in the form of the stolen provisions. Indeed, there are goblins in the hills outside there, and they are an unusually cunning sort. I was waylaid on the road, and before I could overpower them, I was rendered unconscious. When I awoke, I realized that I had been borne away to a cave in the hills. In the darkness, I spied some of the goblins feasting upon my horses. Deeper in the cave, I heard others prepare a fire, and they shouted and cheered for a feast of man-flesh. My senses returned. I arose from the ground in anger and changed my skin. All at once, the goblins seemed to discover that they had not captured one of the woodmen as they had thought. It was a mistake the survivors will not soon forget. Yes, before I fled the caves, I slew a few of their number, but I was forced to abandon what remained of the provisions. The goblins appeared to answer to one called Durpcat, if such nonsense is even a name in their tongue. I think without him, these goblins would not seem so clever. Slay him, outsider, and recover what he has stolen from us. Sure. It's not every day you see a Beorning so diligently dispatch such a big number of goblins, so I want to take a look on that regard as well. Now, here we are on the other side of the bridge. You might remember a couple episodes ago we were able to check the bridge from the other side, and there was a page as well. Fil Sulmog. Okay. Will we get to enter that cave at some point? Maybe? The cave where Hárskor was taken? Oh, Fil Sulmog. Yeah. Yeah, I think I remember this one. And it wasn't pretty. Oh, come on. Oh, completed Bales, Beast and Insect Slayer. Okay, let me check that really quick. Some gold marks and reputation, but still good. And the advanced tier requires 80 of them. I think we can do that. Yeah, here we are. Oh yeah. Oh my god, no. I don't have enough time to read this. I gotta dispatch these guys, even though I will miss the quest credit for them. There we go. A tribe of orcs known as the Shapakai escaped the final battles of the war and fled into the hills of Woodsage. Although they are seemingly few in number, they pose a great threat to unwary travelers in the Vales of Anduin. If trade and travel between the Beorning lands and Woodsage is to be renewed, the Shapakai must be defeated and the raids put to an end. Right, so there are plenty of Shapakai anyway. Hárskor told you the Shapakai looted many provisions in the final days of the war. What remains of the provisions have grown spoiled and rotten to the taste of man, but they have only become more palatable to the orcs. If the Shapakai are to be driven from Woodsage, they must be deprived of their provisions. Oh, come on. How many of these guys are in anti-exploit mode? I swear. I mean, if you can't handle it, then don't use those tents. That's what I was talking about. The thing with this place is the orcs are so close to each other. They are small groups, but they are so close to each other that it's really hard to engage one of these groups without alerting the others. So if you would please just... Christ. Yeah, I remember this alright. I also had some difficulties last time I was here. Okay, we have sealed provisions and spoiled provisions. Yeah, okay, I get it. But there are no more provisions outside, so it's time to enter the cave now. Alright. You defeated many of the Shapakai who escaped into the hills of Woodsage. With their numbers thinned, it is unlikely they will be able to continue to launch raids on traders and travelers in the Vales of Anduin. So I'm guessing as soon as I finish collecting the sealed provisions, I will need to find a boss, right? You destroyed many spoiled provisions at Fil Sulmog. With the roads watched by the Beornings and the Woodmen, it is likely the Shapakai will have to abandon the Vales of Anduin. hate it when they use that kind of healing skills, you know, that negate their own damage and heals them instead. Because as a warden, even if you stop attacking them, your dots will keep ticking, so there's no way to avoid them being healed. Alright, so here we are. A harsh voice echoes through the air as a large orc rushes forth. For the last time, I told you to keep your hands off the meat. Man, you'll taste better than this filth. I would like to see you try. I bet you thought you'd seen The Last of Us, but Moria is ours again. But Moria is nothing. I shall have the beard of the dwarf that slew the Lord of Caves. Enough! I'll not fall to the likes of you. With sudden agility, Turbkat rushes past you and flees Fil Sulmog. I mean, I could catch him if I wanted, but... well. Bottom line, we've dealt... oh, come on! Of course, I'm like, yes, I'm going to die. Ah! Ah, Christ's sake, this is what I hate, this stupid place. I was already out. Sorry. I was already out. It hadn't been that long since I had cleared that camp of enemies, so I thought, hey, it makes sense. If there are no orcs outside yet, they have not respawned. And once again, you cannot take a few steps outside that freaking camp without pulling half of the orcs with you, as they are so close to each other, so they all load and you cannot see them, but they still see you and they still hit you. That's just stupid. I don't have time to deal with you now. And not you either. I hope this was worth it, Hárskor. Not doing this again for you.
I hope these provisions will be enough.
So you return, outsider. I feared the goblins would get the better of you, but I know now why Grimbeorn sent you on this errand. I hope these provisions will be enough to keep the people of Hultvís from starvation. Once I return to the lodge, I will tell Grimbeorn what has happened and see that more provisions are sent to Hultvís. And at that time, let Turbkat think on his cowardice. What he has done will not go unanswered by the line of Beorn. Deliver what you have found to Ríkmar, outsider, and offer my apologies to the people of Hultvís. You know what? This is the perfect time to make use of our Mastering Hultvís skill. We've already been there on our own, discovered the Civil Master and all that, so it doesn't hurt making use of our arsenal of travel skills. This has taken us to, I think, the other entrance of Hultvís that, yeah, we hadn't technically seen yet, but we were really close in any case. The oven is in here, Beornings.
You have found choice guts to exceed many of our hunters' finest takings.
Is this the luck of a beginner, or have you hunted prey in the far-off lands and the hearts of Woodsedge just the latest? Well done, my friend. You are welcome in Hultvís, for there is much that needs doing. Ask around and you will find no shortage of tasks, I am sure. But it is the tradition of our hunters not to report immediately upon returning from a successful hunt, and I do not ask you to do otherwise. I will salt and prepare the steaks, and while I do, you should speak to the men and women of the village and listen to their stories. One such as you must have heard many tales from wandering in distant lands, but I assure you that ours are unique. Legend hangs heavily upon every tree and rock in these vales, and whispers tell that even creatures out of myth can be found among the mists. There is a magic about the Vales of Anduin, Beriathan. Listen to the tales of my people and I challenge you to say otherwise. Another birch page. Awesome. Great, great.
Old mad Ob so quick and death snatches, catches, leaves bereft the mothers of the babes he claims and leaves them crying out their names.
I love hearing stories.
Yes, I do, and I love telling them too. When I am old enough, I will learn the truth of these legends, and if they are false, I will let everyone know. But I hope they are true, yes, I do. I will tell you one of these stories, but which one? The Maiden of the Gladden? Or my Haidu, winter hare of the horsefolk? Perhaps the tale of Old Madab? Aye, that one is too frightening. I've got it. Have you heard tale of the Hole Dwellers? They were a small people, shy and tricksy, and it is said they dwelt in holes beneath the ground. Nay, not like dwarves. These folk were smaller than dwarves, it is said, and they would vanish at the first approach. My mother says that she heard fairy stories about the Hole Dwellers when she was a little girl, but none of them have been seen in hundreds and hundreds of years, if not longer. She heard that folk used to leave food and trinkets for them on the riverbanks, and that sometimes when they went back to check, the gifts would be gone. I wonder where the Hole Dwellers went. I think perhaps they perfected the art of hiding, and now no one can find them. I'd wager there is still somewhere in the Vales, just waiting for a child smart and clever enough to see them. I hope that's me. Oh yes, I do. Ah, come on. How come I cannot tell her the truth about the Hole Dwellers? She would love it.
Legends and stories? Aye, we here in Hultvís have our fair share of the things.
I myself have seen enough to believe most of what they say about the lands hereabout, and if you spend some time here, I do not doubt you will too. Have you heard tale of the maiden that walks the marshland? Her hair is golden, they say, threaded with yellow flowers, and she walks among the pools of Gladden singing songs of sorrow. Even when I was a young girl, I heard the stories of her, and strayed further from my home than I ought in hopes of seeing her, but it was for nothing. I convinced myself that the horsefolk that lived in these lands long ago, from whom came the first stories of the maiden, must have mistaken the light on the water for her golden hair, the breath of the wind for the sound of her song. I gave up seeking her, and then I was a woman grown with a family to look after, and I left tales of the maiden to my childhood. But there is a magic in the Vales, stranger. One afternoon, while I sought wildflowers along the riverbank, I was caught out of doors too late. The sun went down, and as the last of the light faded, I saw her standing among the Gladdens. Still as a statue she was, but as I sought to look at her closely, a great drowsiness fell upon me. I blinked my eyes to clear away the fog, but then she was gone. I searched among the pools until it was too dark to see, at which point I had to return to Hultvís. It would not have been safe to remain in the bog, for then as now there are sometimes monsters about. I have not seen her again, but it lightens my heart to know the Maiden of the Gladden is out there somewhere, singing. That is how I know the tales of her are true. Perhaps there is truth in the other tales of my people as well. Here is the stable master. So that's the northern entrance to Hultvís. That's where we ideally would have come from. But well, you see that the town is not that big.
For how long have my people lived by the side of the wood? Long years indeed.
Long years indeed, for true deeds have vanished into the haze of memory, taken in the field of legend or myth. Doubt not that even the most fantastical of these tales must hold some truth within its marrow. Or do you count yourselves brave enough to search for Bagari, the ghostly wanderer of the Gladden? Marhaidu of the horsefolk did, and he was forever changed. Long ago, the horsefolk of Rovanion knew the hardship of war, and they came to the Vales of Anduin in desperate need. The woodmen that lived in the Vales at the time gave them food and shelter, and in return the horsefolk raised no king and demanded no fealty. Instead, they lived as neighbors with the woodmen, building a fortress of stone and timber on an island side of the old fort. This redoubt they named Avabark, and it housed the horsefolk for several generations, but they were never comfortable within its confines, and they desired a home more to their liking. While the horsefolk remained in the Vales, the woodmen told them of Vagari, a spectral figure that stalked among the fens by the light of the moon. The sight of him filled my people with dread, and they fled in terror, but the horsefolk were bold, and their blood ran hot. Marhairus, son of the chief, went in search of Vagari. He was not seen for a year and a day, and when he finally returned, his hair was streaken white. He was clad in pale garments instead of his armor, and there was a darkness in his eye that had not been there before. He claimed to have met the Wanderer and followed him for a time, but whenever he tried to speak to him, the spectral figure faded from view, only to reappear further ahead in the mist. His memory failed in recounting of what befell him, and he spoke with confusion of an empty dwarf hold and a sorrowful song. Until the end of his days, Marhairo insisted that he follow the Wanderer for only a short time. He could not explain his long disappearance. The horsefolk, believing he had been ensorcelled, named him Winterhair and shunned him as a source of ill fortune. He dwelt in a hut on the edge of the Gladden and lived to be an old man, but one day his hut was found empty and no one can say what happened to him. Listen to the warning of Marhairo Winterhair, Beriathan. If you encounter Vagari the Wanderer among the mist, turn and flee before it is too late for you. All these stories were really great, and yeah, we'll get to learn more about all those stories as we advance through the Vales of Anduin. Well, the Hole Dwellers we already know, but the other ones also hold some secrets. It's all connected in the end, I promise.
Find Hárskor in what of the provisions?
You inform Ríkmar that Hárskor was waylaid by orcs on the road to Hultvís, but he escaped his would-be captors. You also explained that while most of the provisions were tainted or spoiled, you did manage to recover a few crates, and Grimbeorn will soon know to send more to Hultvís. Oh, thank you. Our need is great, but this is more than enough for now, Beryathan. I will see to it that none in Hultvís go hungry tonight. Ríkmar shuffles uncomfortably for a moment, but seems to steady himself. But I must admit, those orcs sound more cunning than most. If we were meant to become their unwitting meals, I'm glad they've been driven out of our lands. Let the skin changers and elves see to them, I think.
If only that were the end of our troubles.
A few of my people dwell in a village in the hills called Tríubad. All who dwell there are woodsmen, and here in the Narrows such a skill is very valuable. I task my people in Tríubad to deliver a supply of lumber and hides to Hultvís with great haste. It is urgent that our fences be repaired and our roofs mended, but I have heard not from the people of Tríubad in days. If some trouble has come to Tríubad, my people there may be in dire need. I would ask that you follow the road to Tríubad and learn what has happened. Okay. I don't remember where that one is, but we'll check in just a moment. Larlat, yeah, and the Lost Lore. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Now we're going back to Veremont and hopefully enjoy a hot meal before we leave Hultvís yet again.
Did you enjoy hearing my people's myths and legends?
Did you enjoy the peaceful respite of hearing my people's myths and legends, Beriathan? I am pleased the Bearfolk came to our aid during the recent battle, for if they had not and my people were slain, these traditions would surely vanish with us. Thank you for helping with the hunt, my friend. I look forward to seeing you again and hearing your own stories of the wider world as you listen to ours. Farewell and good fortune to you. You should return to the Beornings with the delivery Grimbeorn requested. Yeah, we'll do that shortly, I hope. As well, on our way to the Beornings, we also need to make sure to visit the Karok once again to complete a deed there. I was just double checking and it seems we missed it by just a few steps. Which is a shame, but well, we have an excuse to go back to the Carrock, I guess. So that's still a nice prospect. How do I get to the... I got a feeling this is not the road to Tríubad. And once again, riding the worsted in the forest is a terrible idea. But it seems we need to look for a different path. Gotta go back to Greenbairn. Hopefully soon. I really hope we can do that soon so that we can also check that deed and well, check it off the list basically. Okay, I think I know where's the path to Tríubad. Yeah, silly me. We didn't need to leave the village actually. Now that I think of it, we can just follow one of these. I hope I'm right. I'm sure I saw an exit. Yeah, this one. This one, yes, this is the path. A pair of woodsmen standing on easy silence near a damaged horseless cart.
The fierce here, they have returned.
I do not know you, traveler, but you would be wise to turn back. The Tears here, they have returned. You note Clotar's concern and you didn't ask about the nature of the Tears here. They were wood demons of legend, or so I thought. It is said the elves long ago drove them from the forest, but how have they now come to be here in the Vales? A shadow must still dwell in the forest. My cousin Bilibald and I only narrowly escaped the tears here at Tríubad, but now we have few hides and even less lumber left to bring to the chieftain. Clothar pauses and lets out a deep sigh. A great tree demon followed in the wake of the tears here, and though I tried to hew it, it wandered away with my axe still embedded in its trunk. That is the axe of my father and of my father's father, and now I have failed them and it is kept by a demon. But if you do not fear the tears as we do, perhaps you could reclaim what was lost at Tríubad. Would you do this for me? What else do you need?
It was said in tales of old that the Fiercer could not truly be slain. Only when they were put to flame could their evil be ended.
Perhaps Tríubad is lost, but the wood demons cannot come to Hultvís. They must be stopped, and I believe I know how it can be achieved. It was said in tales of old that the Fiercer could not truly be slain. If one of the wood demons fell to the axe, its smoldering remains would give rise to more of its kind. Only when they were put to the flame could their evil be ended. Demons they may be, but they are demons wrought of wood, and that means they must fear fire. If you are to overcome the wood demons, you must swiftly burn their remains after defeating them. For each of our sakes, let us hope the tales spoke true.
Some believe the forest has become angry with us, but I say it is the work of the wood demons. I have heard enough tales of the Fiercer to know their sap runs with blight.
I thought such sorrowful days were behind us, Beriathan, but what am I to think now? In mere days, all of our livestock was taken by some cruel sickness. Some believe the forest has become angry with us, but I say it is the work of the wood demons. I have heard enough of the tales of the tears here to know that their sap runs with blight. I do not know if the blight lingers in the dead, but if it can spread, it must be prevented. I would ask you to burn the remains of our fallen livestock. No more injuries will be done to them by the wood demons. And we also have this root in here, okay. After hearing the tales of bedeviled roots from the woodmen, you have encountered a vast number of them at Tríubad. You suspect they have been roused by the Taurogrim encroaching on Tríubad. You should burn the roots before they overtake Tríubad. Yeah, even without the text telling us so, it's evident we were talking about Taurogrim. And oh my god, would you please just... Yeah, leave me be. Ah, we need to burn them, yeah. Lots of things to do here, but yeah, I think this is a very small quest top. Just these few quests we've gotten now. I don't think there will be more. I think, if I remember correctly, after these few quests we'll be sent back to Ríkmar. At least that's how I remember it. Oh, for Christ's sake. But yeah, everything is in here. It's a very tightly packed area. No! Please just leave me alone, Christ. I've told you many times how trolls are the worst kind of enemies you can fight in LOTRO, but the Taurogrim really take that to another level. Because on top of throwing you away and stunning you, they can also root you. So it's two opposite types of attack that manage to be even more annoying than just one of them. I really hate it every time I need to fight this Taurogrim. But the thing is, after their introduction, they have reappeared multiple times. Oh. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Friggin' hunt you, and as you are flying through the air, they manage to root you? Whose idea was it? Because it sucks. For God's sake. Okay, we finished burning the livestock. Although you came too late to save the livestock of Tríubad from the poisons of the Taurogrim, you have done much to help protect the woodmen and other folk of the Vales of Anduin from their blight. I guess we'll need to defeat these guys too. Don't worry, I didn't miss the Yellow Parchment, but I wanna clear this area before I do. Oh! Find Clothar's axe and defeat the tree demon of Tríubad. Okay. Nainala Alda, Nainiet Larilme. Mournful tree, we hear your lament. Lertati alasta isirio alase. Can you hark to the river's joy? Oh, nice. Yeah, finally. One of these guys that didn't use any of those annoying attacks. With the Taurogrim defeated and their twisted forms burned, the familiar crackling of firewood echoes through Tríubad. Although you suspect that the Taurogrim will soon return, you have done well to aid the woodmen. Yeah, it's still a victory. And a sweet victory, considering how terrible these guys can be. And I think this is the guy for the axe? Maybe? I know. It's over there. So this is the tree demon. A regular horn, it seems. But a regular horn is still a horn. Boughs and branches crack over here as rotten stock is roused from its rest. Rotten stock falls defeated and Clothar's axe clatters to the ground. Sure, anything else in here? Seems not. We just need to prune a couple more of these evil roots, and that will be it. Oh, how come you resisted it? Why they need to do those attacks right after one another, I mean. Once again, whose idea was it? Finally. You pruned many of the bedeviled roots at Tríubad. It is uncertain if the continued presence of the Taurogrim in Woodsedge will rouse more of them, but you have prevented them from overtaking Tríubad. And that's still good. Here is your axe. Please don't lose it again.
You've really done it, haven't you? You even got my father's axe back from that rotten tree demon.
Lothar looks in disbelief at the lumber and hides you place onto the cart. You approach Lothar and hand his axe back to him. Thank you, Beriathan, and don't you worry about us. Bilivald and I can bear it the rest of the way. Tell the chieftain that we'll be back to Hultvís in no time. Sure, as I told you, that was a really short and tightly packed quest hub. Yeah, I mean, more than 3-4 quests counts as a quest hub in my opinion. Well, in any case, it's a really small area to be in and to do some extra work, so it's all good.
What was keeping the woodsmen of Tríubad? Did they meet with some trouble?
You tell Ríkmar of the tears here known to you and the elves of Erin Lasgalen as Taurogrim, and of the misadventure that befell the woodsmen before you aided them. You explain that Clothar and Bilivald will soon deliver a number of hides and planks of lumber to Hultvís. While I am concerned that the wood demons have returned to the forest, I am pleased that Hultvís will soon be better defended. When Clothar and Bilibald return, I will set my people to the task of repairing defenses and other damage the Orcs caused during the war. You are a brave Warden, and we are fortunate to have you here with us in Hultvís, if only for a time. You have done much for the people of Hultvís, Beriathan, but I would ask one last thing of you. The eldest of our people, Ata, claims that he encountered some sort of demon in his youth. Ever since, he has refused to leave Hultvís, but none of us have ever seen the creature. And how could we? He claims the creature can move unseen. Many look upon him with pity, but some of my people have been needlessly cruel to him. I do not know what to believe. When the forest was still Mirkwood, I spied many evil things beneath its eaves, and I have been told that demons dwell among the reeds of the Hárskor. But the creature Ata has described is unlike any of them. It's as if he believes that Old Mat Up is real. Whatever the truth of his memories may be, it has brought him great pain. He has grown wary of his own people over the years, and I do not blame him. Perhaps one as well traveled and learned as you might convince Ata to speak of the demon. Will you speak to him, Beriathan? Yeah, let me find this Ata. I'm not sure if we have enough time for his story today, but I seem to remember he will send us on the couple errands before he's willing to tell us the story of what happened, so maybe we can still do something before the end of today's episode. Yes? You tell Ata that Ríkmar sent you to speak to him about the demon he claims haunts the Vales of Anduin. I'm sure he did. Someone comes along who might convince Old Mat Ata that it's only a legend. No, I don't think so. Ata lets out a gruff chuckle. My people fear things they don't understand. There are no demons in this world, no creatures of the mind, not in the way my people think of them. And what I fear is no demon, it is something much worse. Ata raises an eyebrow. Don't you have anything to say for yourself? Fine, then listen. If you insist on standing about at my house, perhaps you could help me with something. I've built these traps to protect my people, but I cannot set them myself without leaving Hultvís, and I can do that. Set these traps in the woods outside Hultvís and spread them about. Yeah, as I told you, he will send us on a couple errands before he's willing to tell us a story, so that's okay. And what about you, Germund?
We've done what we must to survive, but I worry it won't be enough.
Beriathan, where you travel, good fortune seems to follow. Will you hear my plight? Long have I cast my nets into the Anduin, but never has its bounty been so meager. It seems to me an omen, but of what? Will you go down to the banks of the great river and gather fish from my nets? If Anduin is generous to you, perhaps my concerns were for naught. Okay, you have another one. Okay, let me hear it.
Whatever good fortune we had is gone now.
All is not well in Hultvís, Beriathan. There is talk of orcs in the hills, and disease has come to the wood's edge. You see, the men who labor at Tríubad have come down with some awful cough, and many others of my folk still suffer injuries from the war. Although I wish to help them, I cannot do better than offer them fish, and trust me, none with a broken limb or gouged eye clamor for a fish to heal their eels. If I had some beckberries, though, I think I could do some real good for them. I have only known beckberries to grow up on Avavark, for they were tended by the Northmen of old, and those who drank of their extract could endure great hardships and even the plague. Indeed, it is said that beckberries ran with the very blood of the Northmen, and hill men they were. Such a berry might offer my people a resistance to disease and harden their wills, and their bones, I hope. Will you go to Avavark and see if you can find any beckberries for my people? Alright. So yeah, there we have it, the traps, and the beckberries, and well, the fish and the beckberries. It's all, I'm not sure if connected, but it's at least one after the other, so that also means something. Ah, and there is something else in here. Let me check. Are you the one called Beriathan? I have heard tales of your adventures in the Vales, but tell me, have you passed near to Malvang yet? Until recent days it was a farmer's village, but the orcs came upon it in the night and set it aflame in some cruel sort of amusement as they traveled north on the road to Hultvís. My family was fortunate enough to survive, but others were lost in the fires. Ríkmar told me the few remains of our kinsfolk that were found in Malbank had been given to their families for burial, but all else was lost. I have no reason to doubt the words of my chieftain, but I do not wish to believe it so. Couldn't some memories still linger in the ruins? Would you travel to the ruins of Malbank, Beryathan? Search for anything that remains intact, that I might return it to its keeper or honor its memory myself. And another one, okay.
Tough and strong, like the trees of the wood.
Would you aid me with another matter, Beornings? When a group of hunters from Blomgard passed through Hultvís, I heard from them that a standard of wild boars has begun to graze in the ruins of Malbank. Hultvís was fortunate enough to endure the orcs of the mountains, but many of our eldest hunters fell in battle before the war was ended. Those that remain hunt the beasts at the wood's edge. But your aid will be most welcome. If it's not too much trouble, I would ask you that you gather meat from the boars at Malbank. Even a small bounty of meat could be of great use to us. I know this may seem a trivial task to you, but Hultvís must be prepared if the orcs return. Alright, yeah, that seems to be it finally now. So we have several different options to pursue, but that will have to come on the next episode. I'm gonna take a quick stop here at the task board and see if I can get some tasks done, but I'm not gonna bother you with that, as I think we have spent enough time today doing plenty of other things. So for the time being, this has been all on today's episode of Citadel Guard Adventures. Thank you once again for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you on the next one. Until then, my friends, stay safe, take care, good luck to you all, and I will see you later.